For the last week, I've been spending my time in LA, and naturally, it reminds me of how I lived here for 4 years, and why is it that I moved out? So as I'm packing up to go home right now, I'm gonna tell you guys why I decided to move out of LA. Once upon a time, I was a naive little 18-year-old that thought the world just revolved around Los Angeles. But you really can't blame me for feeling that way. I mean, TV and film and pop culture kind of makes it seem like LA is the place to be all the time. I thought, you know what, yeah, this is it. This is where I want to be. This is the ultimate dream. So when I was 18, I moved to LA with the goal of becoming a director. But living in LA isn't nearly as glamorous and fun as an establishing shot montage from an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm realizing deciding to film at the airport is probably the worst idea ever because it's loud and busy. But you know what? This is where it all starts for people. LAX. When you move to LA, you have to deal with LAX. Honestly though, number one is everything is just so much harder here. It's huge. Like, everything you see around me is a part of LA. You could easily have a friend that lives in downtown over here, and you could live in Santa Monica over there. That's a 16-mile stretch. In traffic, that could be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. From my personal experience, that means you just wouldn't end up hanging out with friends as often because it was never worth dealing with driving in traffic. That kind of feeling really made me feel trapped. If you don't like driving in LA, you're just gonna hate your life. And guess what? I didn't like driving in LA. I hated it so much. Being in such a big city, everyone is in a hurry, and people are pretty aggressive. Like, people drive like maniacs, and the thing is, I get it. When you drive in LA, it seriously feels like you're gonna get a car accident like every time you go somewhere. Someone will just start coming into your lane even if there's not room because they're being aggressive and they assume that then you're gonna make room. So you really have to be a defensive driver, and you have to be paying attention because people do this kind of thing all the time. They'll just cut you off, and everyone loves to like think that they're good at driving just because they're aggressive, but you're really not. Like, you really are just being dangerous. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to somewhere where people drive normally. But traffic and driving wasn't the only thing that drove me out of LA. I mean, you're gonna find that in any city, and where I live now definitely has its fair share of that. You see, the other thing I really started to dislike, as messed up as it sounds, was a lot of the people. LA definitely attracts a certain type of person, and I once saw this quote that said something along the lines of, LA is the place that everyone that thinks they're too good for their hometowns goes. And that is so true. And so it was living in this melting pot of people that have this mentality that they're too good for something. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everyone. And if you live in LA, please don't get offended by this. This maybe probably isn't you, but there are a lot of people there, you have to agree with me, that are like this. And they're just very obsessed with their image. And you know, it is one thing to like to get a manicure or a blowout or wear a cute outfit. I'm all for that. But LA just took it to a different extreme. You know, people getting plastic surgery and like filling their face. It's kind of hard to describe, but there just be these certain types of people that you could tell just walked around thinking they're really the shit. And it wasn't until I started going back to where I was from, Seattle, that I started realizing like, oh, that's not normal. Like, most people in the world don't act so obsessed with themselves. So that was one thing. I mean, it just got irritating everywhere I went, being surrounded by just like bitchy people, honestly. And also, there's something to be said about the standard of beauty in LA is so much higher. I mean, there is just like a lot of really beautiful people. You're surrounded by actors and models and all these people that honestly like have beautiful bone structures, and then you look at yourself and you're like, I'm a potato. Cool. I feel like when I go to LA, like, I just don't feel confident in myself, and I know that's just a personal problem, but like, I can't get over, like, I just don't feel like my best self when I'm there, and I feel like it's this competition. And when I come back home to Seattle, I just feel comfortable, I love myself, I feel confident in myself, and I don't know, I think that's something that made me go, this place is just not for me. The other thing with people in LA is most people are creative, and most people move there because they have some sort of dream or some sort of thing that they're hustling to work towards. And while that can be really cool and inspiring, being around a bunch of motivated and ambitious people, it also has its negative aspects too, like meeting people and them just wanting to use you in social climb and all that stuff. I definitely experienced that. People kind of wanted to conveniently make their way into being friends with me, and they wanted to like make videos together and just learn from me in whatever way. And I thought we were like making these real friendships, but all of a sudden when they got what they needed out of me, like suddenly they were always too busy to hang out. And that's just ridiculous, but it happens in LA. I have to say, I do have some awesome friends that live in LA, and this does not apply to them, but I also, on the other hand, had some friends where I just felt like we weren't actually real friends, and it started to make me feel lonely, and I was just craving deeper friendships and felt like a lot of the people that I met in LA I just wasn't clicking with, because it was always people that were really career driven, and that's great and all, but I wanted to like personally work on myself and make better friends. And I also wanted to start dating, but once again in LA, I just feel like men there were so into themselves, and I'm just not really attracted to that. Like, I just wanted to be with someone normal, and I felt like I was really craving better friendships and, you know, maybe trying to date and being in a relationship, and that just wasn't working for me in LA. Like, the social side of things just wasn't clicking. It started to make me realize all of these really superficial things that I liked about California, like the beach and the nice restaurants and all the entertainment. None of that really mattered. It was all just starting to fade away, and what really mattered to me became very clear, and that was how I was really craving really good friendships and relationships with people, and I just didn't like the people in LA. And I realized if I ever wanted to achieve my dreams of actually making films and what I moved to LA for, I had to be a storyteller, and to be a storyteller you have to be inspired by life, and Los Angeles was just not inspiring me as a city. So as cheesy as it sounds, I decided to follow my heart and move back home. Once I knew that I didn't truly like the city and it wasn't giving me what I wanted and I just wasn't happy, I was afraid to leave for a really long time, because I felt like that made me a failure and I didn't accomplish what I thought I was going to do, and maybe other people would look at me as a failure, but you're really not. You're just realizing what you actually want in life, and it's honestly crazy to think that what I thought I wanted when I was 12 years old, I would actually like go through with and enjoy. So it's okay. I mean, it's okay, and everyone comes to a crossroads where they're like, wait, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be, whether it be the career path you chose, or the college major you're in, or the city that you thought you would love living in. You might not like it, and that's totally okay. You shouldn't feel ashamed of admitting that and moving on and trying to figure out what you really do like. So that's it. That's why I moved out of LA. Thank you for watching this video. I'm sitting in my car here in Seattle. This is a weird ending, but that's why I moved out of LA. Yeah, that's it. Okay, bye.